Hey everybody, it's Kerry, and I've been thinking about New Year's resolutions. So we have a Western calendar year. I don't care what country you're from or what culture you live in, even if your own culture has its own calendar, the Western calendar dominates the whole world. And so all of us collectively have this turnaround point at the end of December into the beginning of January. And there's this feeling of New Year's resolutions that comes along. And so I've been asking people, hey, do you have a New Year's resolution? And I get very few people say, oh, yes, here it is. And this is what it is. And for the most part, it's because we don't have time for that. It's doing something for a whole year. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure with it. So I've been thinking about it and realizing that if I wanted to have a resolution about something, doing it once a year is maybe weird and limiting. And is it really helpful? Like, let's say my New Year's resolution is to exercise more. For the most part, I might buy a gym membership and go 3 times a week for the first week, and then the second week there's 2, and it peters off and you don't stay with it. So I thought of an idea, a little exercise if you guys want to join in with me. So this video will have my idea, which is that rather than having one New Year's resolution, we make a clump of resolutions, and that we actually correlate them with the houses of the astrology chart and the meaning of those houses, because the houses of the chart really show the domains of life. And I have some cool cards that I made up that I'll be showing. And so if you want to do this in a little exercise with me, pause the video and go get yourself a notebook or a pen, paper, or a stack of index cards, because if you do the index card style, you can use this every year. So we're going to go through house by house. So my idea is we make a resolution for each month of the year. That way we can catch all the domains of life. We all need improvement every single quarter for the most part. And so this idea is to come up with a resolution for each of the houses of your chart or anybody's chart, and do one of them per month. So you could say, all right, January 1st house, February 2nd house, March 3rd house, like that. Or you could see how January goes. Pick one of the houses. Let's say you pick the first house for January, and then in the course of January, you realize, okay, now I want to go for my 6th house in February. So you could shuffle it around however you want, or you could do it in order. So loose. All right. So I'm gonna show you my little flashcards, and we'll go house by house. You're also going to learn the meanings of the houses in this video. Okay. So boop. There, that looks good. All right, so this is for the first house. The first house is the house of the self. So these are just a few keywords for each of the houses. It rules your body, your identity, how you behave, how you look. And so maybe pick a resolution that has something to do with something like this. For example, maybe all your clothing is old and outdated, and you decided you wanted to dress better. Maybe make your resolution to get rid of your old clothes and get some new pieces for your wardrobe. That's just an example. You could include health in this. You could say, oh, well, this is going to the gym. I want to go to the gym more, or some other physical exercise or physical improvement. So, all right, that's going to be the first house. All right, second house. The second house we call the house of resources. In the second house, think about it as support. Like, that's one of the key words. How are you supported in life? How much money do you have? What kind of family support do you have? What do you eat? So you can make a resolution about the second house that has something to do with making more money or managing your money better or trying to eat better or supporting other people more, reaching out to your own family more to see if anybody needs anything. So a resolution for the second house would look something like that. Okay, third house. Boop. I can't see myself. All right, third house. Third house is the house of effort. A lot of people know the third house as communications, siblings, skills, movement, all of that stuff. Third house. So a resolution for the third house might look something like, I'm going to really make an effort to not interrupt people when I'm having a conversation. I have a bad habit of interrupting. Yes, I'm talking to myself. All right, so something like that. Movement. Oh, I'm going to decide to commute to work on my bike instead of using the car. Something like that. Okay. All right. All right. Then fourth house. The fourth house has to do with your foundations. So the home, I'm going to add in here just because I didn't have a lot of room for my Sharpie words on the card. Home, vehicles, properties, that is all fourth house stuff. It's also the house of the mother. It's a house of emotions and emotional regulation and contentment and inner peace. So the fourth house. The resolution for a fourth house could be something along the line of, I'm going to call my mom every other day, or I'm going to start therapy, or something like that. I'm gonna try to be more peaceful when I interact with people or myself. I'm gonna try to show more self-compassion. That could be a resolution too. So you gotta be creative. All right. Fifth house. Boop. I forget to hold it the right every time. All right, fifth house, a house of creativity. Creative issue is what I like to say. So with the fifth house, we can look at things like children. Anything you create, like a book you write, could be a creation, or an artwork, or even a business that you come up with, a business plan. Merit, in the sense of achievement, and I've done a good job and I get this benefit for it. It's a house of inspiration and creation. The fifth house has to do with Leo, by the way, and all of the houses go in that order. So if you know the zodiac signs, starting with Aries, Aries is like the first house. Leo is like the fifth house. So, sorry, I got off the rails. All right, so there you go with the fifth house. Fifth house could look like something like, I'm going to do more fun things with my friends. I'm going to go out once a week and we're going to go to art walk together or something like that. I need to be more social. I need to be more creative. Something like that could be a fifth house resolution. Okay, sixth house is the house of work and service. It's also the house of friendship and enmity. I think of it as the house of what's good for me and what's bad for me. Sometimes it can be the same thing. Something that's good for you can become bad for you when it becomes a habit instead of a ceremony. So the sixth house, you could make a resolution about health. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get those tests done that I've been putting off. It also has to do with employment and jobs, habits, and practice. So another sixth house thing could be just breaking or starting any habit. Habits are hard to break and also hard to start, but you can start with repetition and routine for starting at better habits. So that's the sixth house. And we've got the seventh house, house of relationships. And my There. That's just easier holding with that hand. So seventh house is relationships and how you interact with the outside world. So partners, contracts, social life, your work-life balance comes into the seventh house. So the seventh house resolution could be something about this realm of life. I'm going to try to be better when I make a plan with somebody to stick with it and not cancel at the last minute. I always do that. Not really, not me, but that could be something like that. I'm going to make sure that I have more social interaction. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and join, something in my community where I can at least have social interaction at least once a week. Something like that could be that resolution. Okay. All right. Eighth house. The house of transformation, deep transformation and change. It's like life and death, big stuff, right? Chronic diseases, spirituality, all of these, longevity, and deep change, right? These are all eighth house things. A lot of times we avoid eighth house things because they have a finality to them. They're, life and death level is what it feels like. But chronic situations like habits are sixth house. When something that's a habit becomes a problem, it might have jumped into the eighth house. So let's say, we're at the point of addiction. An eighth house resolution could be getting help. It could be finally breaking down and saying, I can't do this by myself. I give up. I need help. So that's the type of eighth house resolution. I'm going to meditate every day for just 10 minutes at least. Every day before I go to bed, I'm going to go sit in my spot and meditate for 10 minutes before I go to sleep. That's a resolution for the eighth house. Okay. And ninth house. Ninth house. The house of purpose or dharma. What path are you on in life? So in the ninth house, we get, I didn't write it on here as a keyword, but it's the house of the father. It's also the house of higher education, teachers, faith, fortune. So ninth house is going beyond your everyday life and reaching for higher fruit in some way or another. A ninth house resolution could be something that's like, I'm finally going to take that trip to Paris, or I'm going to seek out a real teacher for this thing that I want to learn, and I'm going to commit to that path of learning. It's very positive. Ninth house is very positive. We like that. It's big picture stuff. Which direction are you going? So the resolution for the ninth house could be like, I'm not really sure what I should do with my life. Maybe you go see somebody like an astrologer and get a clue about what the universe has written for you. So ninth house. 10th house. House of career, achievement, profession, karma, responsibility. It's kind of the pinnacle of the chart. In real time, at any given moment, the 10th house is right above our head. So for example, when the sun is in the 10th house, it's usually about noon. It's in that noon hour, and the sun is very strong. So the 10th house has these kind of designations. A 10th house resolution might look like, I'm going to apply for a bigger job, or I'm going to figure out what I want to do for the right job. I'm going to take responsibility for that thing I did to that person that I've been avoiding, and it hurt their feelings, and I know it, but I wasn't big enough to take responsibility for it in the moment. So I'm gonna amend. I'm going to amend for my resolution. Okay, 11th house has to do with, it's the house of gains, long-term gains. So we see income, and we see groups and teams, and we see community, and we see long-term goals with the 11th house. 11th house resolution could be something like, I am going to make more money. I'm going to make sure that I get an upgrade in my job. I'm going to do some training to be able to qualify for a better pay raise. Or I'm going to do something in my community. I'm going to join a volunteer group. I'm going to volunteer once a week, or I'm going to join that group where I'm going to volunteer for once a week for the rest of my life. So I'm going to do something where I come out of my own self and go into the community and join other people. I'm going to write down and figure out what my goals are. I don't even know what my goals are, right? So a resolution could be figuring that out, taking time to actually work it out, do your lists, vision board, whatever. Another resolution for the 11th house could be adopting the idea that you deserve to have things and you're allowed to enjoy the fruits of labor and some things that you've worked for a long time. You're worthy. That might be a resolution. All right, 12th house, last house, the house of loss. I know, 11th house gain, 12th house loss. A lot of people come at me with, oh, the 12th house, I'm going to lose everything. I'm like, yeah, but didn't you get everything in the 11th house? Like, to me, 11th house is the income, it's your paycheck, and the 12th house is your bills and your expenses. So it can sound really dramatic, and I'm not saying that we don't lose big things sometimes because of the 12th house, we do. But we don't have to be dramatic about it. 12th house is the house of loss. So liberation is the flip side of the 12th house. So yes, we lose, but there's also opening and freedom that comes in the 12th house. And sometimes we need to lose something in order to get freedom. So expenses is another factor, isolation is another factor, and surrender. So isolation can be framed as retreat also. Maybe your resolution has to do with going on a retreat and taking care of yourself spiritually. It's a spiritual house. Maybe a more practical 12th house resolution could be something like, I'm going to watch my spending. I'm going to stem my losses from my own willpower and just not spend as much. Maybe it's a buy nothing month for you. So, okay, that's my idea, is let's make a list, or you can do cards of a resolution for each month. And you can either assign it now, or you could see how 1 month goes and then pick from your deck and figure out what resolution you're going to do for the next month. You could check in with your astrologer or check your chart if you know enough, and use your chart as a map to try to figure out what would make sense for what resolutions and when. So, all right, that's my idea, New Year's Revolution. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave your comments. Let me know how it works. This is going to work for any year. And it takes the pressure off of having one big resolution that you don't do that makes you feel like a failure because you can't stick to anything. So this is a little bit more practical, a little more tenable, and I hope you check it out. Have a great day. Take care.